There's a lot of great transcriptions out there of every lick and trick that Eddie uses in his lead playing in Ain't Talkin Bout Love, but I feel like there's a handful of things in the rhythm guitar parts that get overlooked by almost all tabs and covers. So on today's installment of Weekend Wankshop, we're going to be taking a look at the 5 things that you may have overlooked when playing this classic tune. Yo guys, and welcome to a brand new installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your best buddy, Uncle Ben. Any of you guys that know me know that I'm a huge Van Halen fan, and I always find that most lessons and covers of classic Van Halen tunes, like Ain't Talkin Bout Love, really put the focus on the lead playing and making sure everything is note for note there, while ignoring a lot of the awesome little tiny details that go into his rhythm playing. Recently here on YouTube, I found where somebody had uploaded Eddie's entire isolated guitar track from Ain't Talkin Bout Love, and I was listening through it really closely and noticed that there were little things in basically every section of the song that I've been playing wrong for years based off of other, lessons and tabs and stuff. There's little things in the intro, in the verse, in the bridge, in the chorus, and in the outro that are a little bit different than what I see people usually playing. So that's exactly what we're going to explore on today's episode. First things first, you're going to need to tune your guitar down 1/2 step to E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. Perfect half step down. If you want to go super Eddie style about it, then tune the B string slightly flat. He did that through pretty much all of the early Van Halen stuff. That way those little thirds on the G and B that he used so much would ring out a little bit more true intonation wise with each other. You don't have to, but if we're being critical, we'll be super critical. And because I know somebody's going to ask in the comments, I'm using D'Addario NYXL 9.5 through 44 gauge. I find if you like the feel of 9s in standard tuning on a Strat scale guitar, like the Sir here, then you'll probably like the 9.5s down a half step. So first things first, let's talk about the intro and the low G note that most people skip over whenever they play it. Did you hear it right there? Now, in the intro part here, you go through an A minor, an F, and a G before you play kind of the iconic lick of the tune right there. And before he plays that lick, there's a low G note that most people ignore. I'll show you what most people do instead and how you can fix it to make it super accurate. Okay, so what you're going to do here is fret down an A minor chord. That's your 2nd fret D, your 2nd fret G, your 1st fret B. And you're going to be doing some palm muting here. Really critical to make this sound right. It's got to be palm muted. If you play it slow and you do palm muting, you might think that you're doing it wrong because the notes are just plinky little things like that have no sustain. Don't worry about that. When you get it up to speed, you don't really notice that the notes don't have sustain on them at all. So put you a little bit of palm muting on there. So what we're going to do to start with here is we're going to fret down this A minor chord. We're going to hit the A string, the D, the B, then the G. Again, just holding the chord shape down. Next, what you're going to do is hit the open high E, 1st fret high E, 1st fret B, 2nd fret G. That's kind of your F shape right there. Now here's where it gets different. Using these 2 fingers here, you're going to grab the 3rd fret high E, 3rd fret B, and then this is where you reach up and play the 3rd fret low E. This is the note that most people miss. That one right there. The trick is to go ahead and get in the position of a G. It's a G5 chord here. I don't use the 1st finger on the A string. That's how Eddie plays that chord throughout the tune. But the trick is whenever you get into the position where you're playing that 3rd E and 3rd B, go ahead and put your middle finger up top too. Most people don't do this and they'll play the open G string instead, like that. Again, yeah, it's a G, but it's not the low G like what Eddie does right there. So be sure to keep that in mind. So far you should have this. There's that low G note. Next you play a 3rd fret A, no palm muting, and then play the 2nd fret A and hammer on the 3rd. Now for some extra zazz, Eddie engages that classic MXR Phase 90 on the lick right there. So if you want to go mega accurate, just stomp on a little bit of phase right there at the end. But yeah, just be sure not to overlook that low G note in the intro. Another little thing about the intro that most people overlook is how the 2nd time through the riff, he picks the B string fret 1 twice instead of going like you hear on all the other times. Sounds like this. I think this is entirely a mistake. I don't think that was like an intentional thing that, the second time I'll always play the C note twice instead of C, A. And he never does it again the whole song, but it's worth pointing out. Now after that, you get to the second section of the intro, which comes back later as the chorus of the song. So every time they're singing the Ain't Talkin Bout Love parts, it's going to be doing the same stuff I'm about to describe to you, only with some additional, improv Eddie licks that he throws in all over the place that you can probably find in other lessons. Now, there's two missing low E notes that I usually see left out of most people's covers and tabs and stuff of this. Whenever I hear most people play it, it sounds like this. And that's pretty dang close, but if you want to go full, totally nutso accurate, here's what you gotta do. You gotta play your A minor chord, right? What you're gonna do is first strum it, and then you're gonna hit that open A string 2 times, palm muted. And then you're gonna strum the A minor chord again. And here's what happens. Open A, then an open low E, palm muted. There's one of the missing E's. Right there. I don't think that that's like a deliberate melodic choice. I think that that is just more of a wind up of getting into this G chord. Like that. And the G isn't a G major or a G power chord in that way. It's a G5, which is a power chord, but it's played, like I was saying earlier, kind of in the AC/DC way of 3rd E, muted A, open D, open G, 3rd B, 3rd high E. So again, you're going to have your A minors with one open low E at the end before you strum the G chord. Now here's where the other missing E comes in. He does another open palm muted low E before he plays that hook from earlier. That's the 3rd A, 2nd A, hammering to 3rd. Again, earlier in the intro he played the low G note, but this time he plays the low E. It's a little thing, but it's there. Okay, now let's talk about the verse and the missing high A note and missing low G note that I see from most versions of this. Verse sounds like this right here. And there's 2 little things right there that I just did that I'm going to point out to you. So you got your A minor chord held down, right? Again, 2D, 2G, 1B. And you're going to be picking the A string open. This is all palm muted, by the way. Open A, D, B, G. And then here's where it gets a little different. Most tabs I see have you going 1st E, 1st B. Again, kind of reflecting that F sound like that. He doesn't hit that note though. He hits the 1st E, then the 2nd G. Again, I would imagine his fingers are probably in this little F chord triad shape, but he doesn't hit EB, he hits EG. And then next what you're going to do is to play the 3rd fret high E string and 3rd fret B, again kind of reflecting your G chord. And then before he does that hook again, just like the intro, there's that muted low E string 3rd fret, and then the 3rd fret A, 2nd fret A, hammering to 3rd. So those are the 2 missing notes I usually see in the verse. There, and there. Next thing to talk about here is the bridge and the picking that Eddie does right here through the chord progression. I've listened to this song like forever. Like some of my earliest memories of music are of this song. And I never once heard this picking pattern that Eddie was doing until I heard it again on that isolated track. Just search here on YouTube, Ain't Talkin Bout Love, isolated guitar, and you will find it. Now, here's something to keep in mind. Eddie was playing, an old 1-channel Marshall on this stuff. He didn't have a clean channel he could go to or a distortion box that he could turn off or something. So his, clean sound in this is actually just him rolling the guitar's volume knob back and picking a little bit more dynamically too to get that clean sound. So as you go into this part, remember, it's not go to your clean channel, it's go from this to this. Thankfully the Kemper cleans up pretty well, pretty much like a real tube amp, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, here's the picking pattern that Eddie is doing, and again, he's playing very lightly. Sounds almost like Leonard Skinnerdy or something. So here's what we're doing. Everything in the song is based around A minor, F, and G's, and this is no different. You're going to start off with your A minor shape held down right here. We're going to play A, then D, then B, then G, just like I've been doing the whole song. Next you're going to play that 1st E, 1st B. Again, kind of like what most people think he's doing in the verses. But then whenever you go to the G chord next, here's what you're going to do. So I'm, again, fretting this G5 chord, 3rd E, 3rd B, 3rd high E. And you're going to start off by playing the 3rd fret high E, 3rd B, open G, open D. That D note is barely audible because of the vocal and stuff. Next you're going to play the 3rd low E. Then what you're going to do is make that middle finger come straight down onto the A string 3rd fret, open G, then play the 2 on the A hammering to 3. Okay, so once again that was... Play it again. Really makes that part kind of flow a lot better. Pretty cool stuff. Now the last thing that we're going to talk about today is the missing C power chords that most people miss in the outro. This is under the hey 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 part. Now the first couple times through he plays exactly like what he does during the chorus. Open low E's and all. But then underneath the last round, which is about 3 minutes and 14 seconds into the tune, he starts playing this instead. It's pretty easy to play. You're going to start off with your A minor once again, and you're going to do like what you did earlier. Strum, 2 A's, strum, 1 A, 1 E, then your G5 open position power chord. And then what he does is to hit another kind of open low E palm muted ghost note, chug, whatever, and then play a C power chord 3 times. 3rd fret A, 5th fret D, 5th fret G. Again, it's got that little ghost note. It should sound like this. I forgot to mention too, whenever he's done with that 3rd C power chord, you can kind of hear his fingers sort of slide back down towards the A minor position. So yeah, leave a little grease on there, it's going to sound even more accurate. So there you go guys, now you're playing one of the most awesome guitar tunes ever in a way that makes old Uncle Eddie super proud. Good for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Ben Eller Guitars, or over on my Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Uncle Ben Eller. Also, if you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons with me, be sure to drop me an email. benellerguitars@gmail.com is where you can reach me. Now get off of this doggone internet machine and go play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.